I wonder first off if you could clarify for us exactly what might have happened today in Helmand that led to the death of those 17 civilians. As you know, there are conflicting reports about what happened.
I cannot add to what your reporter already reported. There aren't more clarity on the circumstances and how it happened, but unfortunately the number which has been told is confirmed now, all civilians. But what were the reasons and circumstances behind and around it, we don't know more than what has been already reported.
So despite the lack of clarity on this incident specifically, what is clear is that the violence has been continuing in Afghanistan, in different parts of Afghanistan. Obviously, the government isn't able to control the situation. Who do you blame? You're in the opposition. Do you blame the government for this? Or is NATO's continued presence also helping inflame the situation and not helping improve the life of ordinary Afghans?
Today's situation, unfortunately, which there is a high level of violence throughout the country, and especially civilian casualties are increasing as a result of mainly Taliban activities. This is as a result of circumstances and conditions in the past few years. It's not one or two issues to be blamed for it today. Yes, the failure of the government to deliver to the people, to bring governance, developmental programs, and deliver to the promises that it had made to the people. That is one of the reasons. NATO, there is no doubt that certain mistakes has been done in part of the international community, and also not to forget the policy of Pakistan harboring Taliban and supporting them and supplying them and continued support for the Taliban. That's one of the main factors. But I will put the internal factor, national factor, the absence of good governance, and also the absence of a vision. President Karzai's vision for Afghanistan, what is it? The people don't know. The sense of direction is absent.
But beyond the political vision, clearly people are lacking security in their lives. NATO forces have been there since 2001, yet the death toll among civilians is on the increase, according to the United Nations. In fact, 14,000 dead since 2007, as we just said. Is NATO and NATO's presence part of the solution of the problem?
I would say that you can look at it from different angles and make your own judgment, but still NATO's presence is needed in Afghanistan. If you look at the situation in 2001, 2002, a few hundred of international forces were here and the whole Afghanistan was secured. And then, of course, missteps by the international community, the attention from Afghanistan was shifted to Iraq. And within Afghanistan, President Karzai failed to maintain the consensus which was there behind the process. In Pakistan's double game altogether, all these three factors. And on top of this, the fact that Taliban's engagement is not in order to be part of a power-sharing government or anything as such, but to dismantle. And the growing gap between the people in the government of Afghanistan, and the mistrust between the government of Afghanistan and the international community and the people of Afghanistan with both of them. These are all reasons for what we are witnessing today.
And clearly some on the ground are using all of these factors to continue to fight the government, to continue to fight this foreign military presence on Afghan soil. If the government can get the situation under control with the help of 130,000 international troops, how can it manage to provide security to Afghans after all these years? Might it be the time perhaps to begin some kind of proper discussion with the Taliban, to form some kind of coalition with them?
First of all, I take it from the issue of coalition and talking to the Taliban. The door for the talks has to be opened and wide open. I have no doubt about it. But the issue is not like Taliban fighting, as I mentioned earlier, in order to participate in the government and have a power sharing. Their ideology, right from the beginning, has been to dismantle any system and replace it with one of their own, which is Islamic Emirate. That's a harsh factor.
But what do you say to those who argue that the Taliban, despite their human rights record and abuses, were able to provide security for Afghans?
That was like security in graveyard. if that one could be called security, so the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, all of them are capable of bringing security. But my point is that why I rate the failure of the government as the number one factor, these are like at the beginning when the support of the people were there behind the process, Taliban were wiped out and most of them had joined peaceful life. And later on, that political consensus behind the process was broken, and then Taliban took advantage of that situation. Still, I believe that this government is not capable of bridging the gap between the people in its own, in the government, and creating that trust. Saving the political process and having a regime or a government which is representative of the people as a result of free and fair election, and having the support of the people behind the process, that's the only way forward. What is missing is the people of Afghanistan. You are talking about NATO, you are talking about the government of Afghanistan, but these events are taking place in the absence of the main factor, the main beneficiaries or the main victims, which are the people of Afghanistan.